Hey, bro. Sorry, I was just testing out a new thing there. Hopefully that worked. The idea was to let me just hit, oh, yeah, okay, it's kind of working. That's good. The idea was to have a bit of an intro. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. It's working. Okay, good stuff. I'm just learning the streaming technology more every day. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to really dive into building again today, and we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep building out our data agents. I mean, we're only 2 hours in basically, and I'm just going to keep going. I stated yesterday that I thought that to build something meaningful is going to take about 15 to 20 hours, particularly on the prototyping stage, and we will. That's just the prototype. So there's a lot of other things that you need to enhance and improve after that point. But to get something meaningful to actually show you what's possible and what I know is possible now, that's how long it's going to take. So let's just keep going. Hopefully you're learning a bit as we go, and I'm happy to chat and discuss around any of the topics that I get into. Okay, hopefully you can see Lovable. So we're still in Lovable. We're still just building the scaffold. Okay, we're not getting too fancy on anything. We are just literally building a simple scaffold of an application, and then we can fix a lot of stuff later on. Okay. One of the things that I might just do initially here is I might actually load up to GitHub, because we haven't actually connected this to GitHub, this particular one, and this is a core part of development. You want to be using GitHub. I haven't done it so far because I just haven't needed to. I mean, we're still so early in what we had created. So, and I'll just open up my, this is our database as well. Like if we go in here, we can see that we have our database set up. If you want to watch, I won't recap like too much every time. If you want to watch how we got to this point, like we've already achieved a lot in just 2 hours of work, right? Go and watch some of the older streams, okay? And we're also sort of chopping these up into shorter form videos as well, as best we can. And that means we can just keep going. We can keep moving forward on this particular project. Okay, let me just switch these around actually. Cool. Okay, I'll just go back to Lovable here. Yeah, hopefully you can see that all right. Maybe I'll just I'll create a new view here. Just give me a second. There I am there. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's just go through. So I've got to sign in. Okay, so we've got to sign in here. So I've built the sign in pages. Okay, and then we've got data sets, models, and prompts. Okay, so yeah, those models and prompts, I think they were more sort of like database things rather than front-end things. But these are all the details. So we've got the loading of our data sorted. Okay, we've got that sorted, and what we can do is we can view the data. So like here's just like a subset of the data, and then the idea is that okay, yeah. So we think what's really key with any data set is collecting the metadata, and we need to store the metadata and associate that to a data, because the metadata is going to enable us we're going to be able to feed that into the AI to give it the right context if we're going to go run some analysis, right? So that was part of what we did there, and then we can go run analysis, and the idea is that this will run some analysis. Now, this is very, very rough, very, very rough, but this is kind of the idea. This is what we want to kind of get to. The reason why I love the idea of building a data agent yourself is because you can completely customize the user experience here, completely customize it. And I think that's going to be immensely powerful when you can get the core functionality and then potentially integrate it into anything. integrate it into any app that you develop, any app that you build, etc. So I think there's just enormous opportunity. That's why I'm so excited about like working through this project. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually, because as your project grows, right, and you're like me, and you start working on numerous different things, you realize that sometimes it's hard to keep track of like all the things you're doing, and like code is complex at times, and as your projects grow, you need to understand it. You need to really understand it. And so like I haven't worked on this like 4 days. And I've kind of forgotten. I've kind of forgotten a little bit about some of the things I've already done, etc. Okay, and this is where GitHub comes into play. Okay, where GitHub was really important. So I'm going to. So we're connected to our account, which is good. Okay, manage. Yep, that's what I want. Yeah. Okay, transfer projects. Yep, the only thing I want to do is maybe change the name of it. Data Whisper Automations. Yeah, don't really like the name of it. So let's maybe try that. I'll rename project. Here we go. Data agents. Let's call it eDNA data agents. And then I'll go save. Okay, yep. So private project, yes. Yeah, okay. So then I want to go GitHub. Okay, GitHub is just so crucial, right? Okay, so if you're just getting into this, I mean, if you've been into this for a while, or you're a real developer, I mean, you realize how how you realize this, right? But if you're not and you're just getting into it, it's just such a core part of the workflow. Helps so much as you scale out, or you try and do more things, or you try and collaborate with others. It's just absolutely essential to do it. Okay, so that's done. And then now what I can do, right, is I can now view this on GitHub. Okay. Okay, so now so remember, like the application is just a range of files. And so Livable has developed a range of files for us. This is also really key, by the way, when we want to move to a proper IDE, like if we want to move away from Livable, which will inevitably happen. And I'm enjoying sort of like windsurf and cursor type development a lot more now, because it just gives you a lot more flexibility. And because I know what I'm doing a lot more around the architecture of my apps and stuff, I prefer it, because Lovable doesn't give you that flexibility. It sort of does it its own way. But still really, really good for prototyping. Really, really good. So you'll see that it's now one of my repos. So I have a ton of repos. I have well over 100 now. I don't use them all, but they're just from history. And so eDNA data agents. Okay, so now what happens when we go and make updates here? It's going to push those updates live to our files, and this will always be like a central source of truth. So really, really crucial for us going forward. I was just writing some notes to you. Okay. Okay, so what I then do, right? Okay, so this is what I'm doing on a daily basis. So at Enterprise DNA, we've developed our own technology called KnowCode. Okay, KnowCode is just absolutely crucial in terms of learning how your application works. Okay, so when you're in GitHub, or even in Lovable, it's so hard to understand what the hell is going on. Okay, even with where we are now, but maybe even in like it gets even worse as you build it out and it gets more complex, right? Like you need to have a deep understanding of your application. There's just no way around it. You have to become a really competent app developer. I wrote a post about that yesterday. But you can become a competent one like far quicker than you ever could before, right? So what you can do here is we can log in. I'm going to log in with my GitHub. Okay, I've got my Authenticator app. Okay, and what it does is we have this capability to set up like a GitHub token. And so we explain it all inside of here. But what that does is it provides a direct connection to all of my repos. Okay, so this is sort of like the perfect learning location or keeping up to date with all of your apps that you're working on or developing. And so you see here, I can load a different branch. Like in this case, we only have one. So I'm just going to go to main. And so like with this tool, we visually show you so many different things that you cannot get. You cannot get this in GitHub or Lovable or anything, right? And so start with a big picture. So this can give us a bit of an outline around how this thing works that we've built already, okay? And then we can really dive deep into specific things if we want to. But this can just give us a really good overview. And like I use this when I jump into any project now, but it speeds up my understanding far, far quicker. The other thing it does, like I was working on something yesterday, I can be so much more precise with the AI, like controlling it, because I know exactly where to direct it. And that's a huge advantage, huge advantage. So that's what this is enabling. Sometimes this can be play up a little bit. Looks like it might be. I'm hoping not, but we'll see. Yeah, it's playing up. God, that's annoying. Okay, so I'm just going to select these here, and I'm going to. No, I want this to work. Hold on. Let's just go back here. Because what we do here is we look at your entire architecture and then we summarize it and then we try and give you a visual. And so let's just try one more time. What this does, it just really sets you up to like be far more targeted in how you pick up older projects or any project for that matter. We also have, you can select any files and go deep in the architecture. You can go to the files and really dig into individual files. And you can also go to dependencies, which enables you to see how everything is connected, how all your files are connected. And that becomes really crucial for hooks and different components. This looks like it's not working. So I'm just going to send a rude note to my developers and say, what the hell's going on? Oh, here we go. Aha, okay, that's why it was taking so long. Okay, so what we can do, right? So what we can do here, see, this is how, so even in our project that we have right now, okay, this is how we can kind of understand it, okay? So so what we're doing is, okay, so these are just pages, okay? So these are pages. This should be summarized a little bit better, to be honest. Like we should be aggregating a lot of this, but it's not happening. Okay, so these are pages, right? Like these are pages and then components within those pages. Okay, and then over here we have these are just general components which come with the out of the box like Tailwind that Lovable produces. Okay, so we don't really need to worry about those. And then the other thing is hooks, like hooks here. So the key things in my mind are pages, how they interact with hooks, and then we probably have some services here. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I can quickly understand the patterns of what I'm looking at now. Okay. Cool. So that's enough. Let's get into developing. But that gives me a good idea of like what is happening now in terms of the application, and then I can obviously I can look through the file architecture as well. And so pages is what we're seeing on the front end. Components are all the little components which are in the pages. And what Lovable does is it builds, rightly or wrongly, is it builds folders for all of your page components in the components folder. Sometimes I actually think it's better to do it within the pages folder, but Oh, you see that we kind of done it. It's kind of started to do it here. Maybe I actually told it to do that. I don't know. Let's have a look. I can't even remember. So let's go to settings. Let's go to knowledge. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Can you please make sure for front-end components inside the folder architecture, place those in folders within the pages folder? Okay, yeah, so it started doing what I asked. So that's where that's quite important. Okay. Okay, let's just try kickstart this. Okay, I'm just back after a 4-day break. What do you think we should work on next? I'm really just want to continue building out the scaffold of the application. I think we've done a few quality things, but we need to just continue to build out. I think maybe the analysis part is where we need to work. So understanding what's happening in our API connections, and then how that output is being placed into the front end of our application. So what we really need to nail here, right, is we need to nail getting the data in and storing it, then having the AI get the metadata, save the metadata, then run a range of automations over that metadata to create, say, Python code or SQL code, and to do that continuously. Then we need to turn that subset of data which is created with that SQL code or Python code into a visualization. And I think we could probably do that with Claude as well. So we'll see. Okay, so let's just vibe. This is where vibe coding comes in, right? Okay, let me first get a better understanding of the current. Oh God, what am I doing? Sorry, I need to change over this tab. Apologies. Okay, see that you've done some refactoring work. Yeah. Okay, let's just upload some data and just see. Upload file. Just make sure that this still works. Okay, so data sets. Yep, okay, view. Okay, well, that's got nothing in it. Okay. Okay. Upload new data set. Yep, something's not quite right. So like, so maybe something's a bit of a bug now. Just checking in my files. Huh? What I'll do here, share my screen window. Yeah. Okay, let's try do another one. Just give me a second. Rows, columns. Okay, upload file. Yeah. Okay, I just want to check, are we actually getting that into the database? So data sets. Okay. Data sets, analysis. Models, profiles, prompts. Okay, let's have a look at our edge function here. So, okay, data analysis. What is actually happening in the data analysis? Okay, so I think this is sending the prompts through. Shared database. Okay, let's just keep going in Lovable. Can you please tell me again, when we process data after we've uploaded it, what actually happens? What are we actually doing? Are we sending that through the Superbase edge function? Just wondering where are we setting the metadata and where are we saving it? Based on exploring the code, I can now explain exactly what happens. When you upload a CSV file, you upload a CSV, you use the file upload hook, passes the CSV, the file is sent to the Superbase storage, creates a dataset record in the database, uploads, stores columns information, data types, and preview data in the database. Which database table is this in? After successful upload, the dataset ID fetches the dataset and file details. When you run an analysis in the data, it goes through the analyze dataset function. Yeah, okay. So let's run analysis here. Yeah, I don't even know what this is. Dataset files. Okay, so it's under columns. Okay, on the analysis page, we have a really weird thing that says Google Gemini 2.5 Flash, latest Google AI model. I don't understand why we even need this. All we're doing on this page is analyzing the data. It doesn't matter what model we're using. Also, in the analysis results, I don't actually want to break it down like we've done here with like all of these drop downs. Like all I care about is the analysis results. and I want to rework the prompt where we just have a list of insights that we could create using the metadata that is available for that data set. That is what we need to work with. So prompts, data source evaluation. Okay, so that goes. So I think that's that, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any thoughts or ideas or concerns or whatever? Yeah. Okay. So you're done. Consider the column types. Yeah. Just run. I can see a clear path to improving this focus. Okay, please remove the Google Gemini section completely. Also, yes, for number 2, redesign the analysis results display. Yes, I want to completely just simplify it down. We don't need the accordion. In terms of the prompt is actually fine. I just had a look at the prompt. We don't need to touch the prompt. So, yeah, let's just leave it for now. And remember, the prompt is from the database table. So we're not gonna change the prompt at all here. Okay, let's start actually making some updates here. Okay, so I'm sort of across what we need to do now. This is where we need to spend time in the analysis part, right? We need to be doing bit by bit here to extract initial insights, and then we're going to store those initial insights into a database somewhere, and then we're just going to iterate. We're going to iterate through these things like one by one, right? That's how we're going to enable like looping with AI through a whole lot of analysis. So we've just got to be collecting information really well. So what we probably need, right, like our analysis. Yeah, so this is quite sure. Yeah, okay, this is just initial analysis, right? So we need data sets. This is just like the metadata analysis, I think. Yeah, I want to change this around. This is going to be where we store each unique insight that we can discover, right? Okay, so the formatting's horrible. Okay. Okay, can we just please create an AI formatting service where after we receive some AI output, like its metadata form, we transform it into readable text. Currently, if you look at the text, it's impossible to read because the formatting is so terrible. So we want a centralized service that does this really easily and well. So what we want to do with things like this, right? Like we want to, because what the AI can do sometimes is it can go and create this on edge functions, like singular edge functions. And what we want to do is all this sort of stuff we want to always centralize, right? So that whenever we run some sort of AI call, it just runs through the service. And then that service always gets it into the right format, because we might be running so much AI here, right? Like it's really important for us to build it in a very scalable way. I mean, if we did it the other way initially, like as we were vibe coding it, it's not the end of the world. Like you can always refactor it later quite easily. But these are the sort of things that I pick up a lot earlier now than I used to. Sorry about this light. This light over my eyes. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? Okay, great. Okay, this looks good. This looks really good. Okay, so okay, I like this. I like this actually. So really what we want to do is we want to get things like this. Okay, so we'll just start small initially. Okay, we want to get things like this, but we want to place them in here one by one. Okay, so and then once we store them in there, well then we can then do the analysis, the like visualization part. Okay, so that's kind of the goal. That's kind of the goal. So I mean, let's just work away at this and we'll see. Okay, I really like what you've done there. Now so the next part, the next phase here is from our initial analysis that we're doing here. What I need to is I like the output that we're getting, but I need to save each individual output here. I need to save it into the database. So just wondering how we can do that. So yes, we're getting an output here, but how can we then break it up so that in the example here, category and product analysis is one row in the analysis table in our database, and then the next one, value analysis by product and date. How do we put that all that detail into a row as well? So just want to dive a little bit deeper into that and see how we can do it. So we're truly vibing here. Like this is us just vibing away, which is good, right? It's good. This is fine. This is absolutely fine for building a prototype, right? Like we're not even putting this out to the world. It's just for us. We're just reviewing, learning, like building out the foundations of something. We can always start again. And we're only 2.5 hours into this entire project, right? Okay, so I'll help you. So this is key. This is I've identified this is very, very important functionality. I'll help you create functionality to save individual sections of the analysis as separate rows in the database. Looking at the image, I see the analysis results contain distinct fields like, okay, pass the AI, so parsing, okay, pass the AI output into discrete sections. Save each section as an individual row in the analysis table. Okay, let's just see what it does here. Let's have a look. Imagine having to write all this logic out from scratch. I mean, it just used to be so hard, so hard to actually bring this all together, like know the code and actually make it happen, right? But I'm quietly confident we should be able to make this happen by the end of this session. But there will be a little bit of complexity here. So what is it actually building here? Okay, so what was this on? That was a page. Okay, this is a service. This has created a service for us. Okay, interesting. Okay, save past analysis sections to the database. Okay, okay. Just by the way, remember that, there's not like that many good descriptions here about what's going on, but that is exactly what KnowCode will enable us to do, right? Like eventually we'll be able to just go update, refresh, it will bring in all the latest files, and then we can ask away. We can learn everything about what's been done within here. Like that's one of the core ways you can use it. Okay, associate each section. Okay, so it's doing a migration. Now I need to create the table for storing analysis sections. Okay, yep. Okay, so I love how it does that. Okay, apply changes. Yep. It just takes care of a lot of complexity, right? How we ultimately create this UI, I think, might change significantly over time. Like, to me, we need to make building the data agents incredibly modular. That is what's really, really key here, modularity, because then we can sort of plug the actual underlying infrastructure of this into really any user experience. We can reformulate it or reformat it or repurpose the front end components in many different ways. That's the flexibility that I sort of see coming to data analysis, which I find quite interesting and exciting. It's hard to, honestly, what I find is it's hard to imagine all this stuff before you start. Like, I am a big fan of just getting in and building, and then you can just, you're not losing as much time as you used to in terms of redundant work if you have to go backwards anymore. Because, I could restart and get to this point or a better place within like an hour, like with the AI just like writing all the front end components, and we can reuse a lot of the back end stuff. So this is by far a superior way to actually build these things out now. Okay, now that we've created the analysis sections table in the database, okay, so let's see what it's done. Okay, so it's created a new table, analysis sections. Okay. Okay, we'll see what it comes up with. Yeah, this is a bit weird what they've done here, but okay. Okay, I'm not sure the parsing has actually been done correctly. Like, the parsing of sections needs to be like for every numbered part of what comes out of the initial analysis, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, these should all be different sections, right? And when we have those different sections, they should all automatically be saved to the analysis sections table in our database. Currently, the functionality to save them doesn't look like it's working to me. the parsing is not done correctly. We need to parse every numbered part of the list as one row in the database table, and it all needs to happen automatically when we run the analysis. We run the analysis on the data set, it passes all the individual sections, and then saves those automatically to the database or the new database table we've created. Okay, so this is the core part of what we need to try and figure out today, is how to actually do this well. I mean, this is quite a complex project. It honestly is, but it's so achievable. It's so achievable, and I want to make it as modular as I can so that I can plug this sort of functionality into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I think we're going to see like mass adoption of things like this. Like, there's just pretty much little doubt in my mind, to be honest. Because what I want to do here is I run the analysis on the page, on the data and the metadata. We get some analysis options. Initially, it's just 5, or 6, but soon it will be much more. It could be 50. And then what we're going to do once they're in the database is we're going to loop through every single one of those things in the database, and we're going to run we're going to actually run the analysis, or try. We're going to first of all create the SQL code, I think, to actually manipulate the data to get what we need. Then once we have the data, we're going to send the data to another AI model to then create the visualization of that data. And then we're going to, the idea is we're going to loop through however many times until that is sort of done automatically. So quite a bit there, but so doable. Okay, I'm gonna start again here. Okay, so let's just go back. Let's just load it up again. Just finding a data set. Okay, so what did it actually do? We enhanced the parse analysis section, added a new autosave analysis sections function, update the analyze dataset function to automatically trigger section saving when the analysis result is received. Okay, yep. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Okay, so data preview, temperature, precipitation. Okay, so let's actually run the analysis now. Okay, I don't think that's working. We can go here, run analysis. Run analysis. Okay, that obviously needs to be made way better, but we're just building the scaffold. Okay, we can clean this stuff up later, in my opinion. Like, what I've found over time, like the more I spend worrying about user experience, like UI components here, is just totally wasted, because I don't even know what the whole process is going to look like. So I'm just getting core functionality, and then with a little bit of AI, and then we can come back. Okay, so this still is not freaking doing it. Okay, we need to change the prompt, I think, to be like far more explicit around like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, because this is not working. Okay, so it has collected it though, which is good. Okay, because this is what we need, right? This is exactly what we need. Okay. Okay, let me just go in here. And I need to find in our prompts here, we need to adjust our prompt to be more explicit. Okay, above is the prompt that we have, okay? What I think we need to do within this prompt is be far more specific about the output that we're getting, because we're still not actually we're not actually breaking down the analysis results enough. There's something, it's just not clear around how we've decided to pass the analysis sections. We haven't made it clear enough in the metadata we get back in the analysis. So we need to adjust the prompt so that it fits in really well with all of the existing services and functions we've developed around passing the analysis sections into the database. We did commit one thing to the database, but it just didn't separate it out for all the different analysis types well enough. And that's what we need to really nail. So to me, the prompt needs to be vastly enhanced to help us with this. Yeah, okay, so hopefully maybe it's going to the formatter, we'll see. But I actually need an enhanced prompt, and then I'll save it into the database. Okay, it takes a little while. I don't know why it's rebuilding the formatter, but who knows? Okay, it's going to change it there. Okay, we'll come back to that's. Okay, let's just vibe. I mean, let's just vibe. Honestly, this is you just need to vibe at this point. This is the best way to do it. Not get too caught up in every individual thing. We just directionally know where we want to go. Let's just try to get there, and then we can absolutely clean it up. You know, nothing is going to be perfect on your initial prototype, right? It's just about getting the functionality working. You know what the AIs are really good at? They're really good at cleaning up code and optimizing code and coming up with strategies around that. Like that's what you can actually use KnowCode for a lot, honestly. That's what I've been using it for. The problem I find with Lovable over once you start getting into a bit more complexity, and we'll find this pretty soon, is that there's just not, it's trying to abstract away too much for more comprehensive applications. So it's really good for just like very, very simple stuff. But as you want to build out and you want to actually build something cool and meaningful and defensible and, you know, something that can actually be like a product you could sell potentially, you know, you need to have a lot more control over what's going on. That's honestly what I've been finding. I've enhanced the system's bit handle. Okay. Enhanced prompt structure. I've updated the default analysis prompt to explicitly instruct the AI to format its response. Okay. Yeah. Improve section pass. The pass analysis now uses multiple regex patterns to identify sections. Okay. Better section sorting. Sections are now sorted by their numeric prefix. Fallback mechanisms. I've added the, okay. These changes will ensure that when you run analysis, the system will automatically break down the IO's response into well-defined sections. Okay, let's just give it a whirl. Let's just click on this one. So 12 columns, upload file. Okay, so this part is working pretty good. Okay, so we get a bit of a preview. Get information metadata. Yeah, okay, so I really like what's going on there. Okay, and then I go run analysis. Yeah, it should run the analysis. I don't know what's going on there. Let's just enjoy the vibing, rather than getting too concerned. I mean, we just got to nail this part first. You know, I want the numbered list. I want it to go into the database. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. And then if I come to save sections, okay, let's go into our database. Are they going to show up here? No. Okay. Okay, nice work on the saved sections. I think that this now looks good and works well. The problem I have now, though, is that it looks like the connection to the database has broken, because what we need to do is, after we've passed all the sections, we need to automatically send all of these things to the database as well. And then from that database is where we can do more of the insights, more of the analysis. Every time you want to like loop through something, right? Particularly with AI, you need to store the underlying information somewhere so that you can loop through it. Okay. And that's basically what we need to do here. So it told me it saved them, but it didn't save them. Section autosave. No, it did not work. That did not work. I mean, what we should be able to do is, you know, have a button to save it as well. And yeah, I clearly know that this is wrong. Like, this is not a good idea to be building this in the formatter function. But anyway, we'll worry about it later. I just want to get this working. That's what we should also do, is like add the ability to add or take away these from the database as well. By the way, if you want to discuss these things that we're talking about all day, we're really ramping up our AI builders community. We just moved over to our own custom community, but you know, we're gonna go much bigger here. This is going to become a very central part of the enterprise DNA experience in terms of like content and ideas and community. So definitely something to sign up for if you haven't already. So aibuildershq.com, and we've got a lot of new things coming very soon around this. Okay, so what is, you know, one of the other things that I'm just like, it's doing too much. It's doing too much. It's rewriting too much, and I really always hate it when it does this, because it just like there's such a high probability of getting something wrong. And so what I need to do is I need to actually start getting more specific around what I'm asking and what I'm telling it to do. That's how you have a much better experience with the AIs, in my opinion. So like when I set it off and it does so much stuff like it's doing now, this is just a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. So anyway, we'll get to the end of this, and then we'll try and figure out what to do next. Okay. Yep. Okay. Like the problem I have is it's not modular enough. Like this is I can just already tell like it's just not modular enough. So we can test things quickly, because this is this is annoying having to do this all the time. Down the bottom of the data preview in the upload page, the run analysis button does not work. Can we please link this up to the appropriate automations we have? Okay. Okay, so dataset upload. Okay, so if we go into dependencies, dataset upload, what this enables us to do in KnowCode is to sort of really get familiar with all the different components. Okay, so like this, unless you can sort of see it visually like this, it is insanely difficult to understand how these things get built out. Like that is what I have found, insanely difficult, like almost impossible for a novice. That's why being able to quickly have a look at your repo in a visual way is just seeming such a massive unlock for me. Okay, so what happens here is that the dataset uploader goes to a component called file uploader. So this is a component. So file uploader, this will probably be here, file uploader, right? And then file uploader is broken down into different components as well. So drop zone, error, idle, success, and that's what these are here. Okay, so this helps me know that these are all sort of connected up together into this dataset upload. Okay, and then these ones with all lowercase. These are just generic components from Tailwind, the library we're using. And then these are some of the services. So use file upload, file uploader. These will probably be either, no, they're not, will use or be, that's like a custom hook. File uploader will be probably here, either a service or a type file uploader. Okay, yeah, so file uploader like this. Okay, and then data preview. Okay, so we come down the bottom here, data preview. There's two things named the same, which is really stupid. See, this is a component, and this is a, yeah, okay, this is highly dangerous. Data preview, okay. Empty state, data preview footer. Yeah, I bet you that's where it is. Data preview footer. Yeah, okay, so updated the data. Okay, yeah, so you see here, like if I go to KnowCode, like I could just kind of visually see how this is all put together. So this data preview table is what this is, okay? This data preview table like this. It's probably one for the metadata. Okay, and then data preview footer is this down here. And that's where this run analysis button is. So updated the data preview footer component to navigate to the analysis page using the data ID. Modified the data preview component to pass the, okay, made sure the button is disabled when there's no data available. Okay, so run analysis. Like it. Okay, cool. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do here, just looking at the way we've set up like an analysis page for like individual data sets, I just don't feel we need this left-hand side component here. Like really all we care about is running the analysis, which could be a button up in the top part of it, honestly. And then analysis results should be sort of the full width of the page, in my opinion. So could we just rearrange for that? Okay, so this data set, okay, if we go to KnowCode, okay, so we'll clear this, okay, and then we'll go and find our page. Okay, so this will be a page inside of here, data sets, data set detail. Data sets, let's have a look. No, that's the data sets page, okay. Must be this, data sets detail. No, that's not it. Data sets chat, no. Analysis page, here we go. Analysis page, see, it's sort of, okay. So analysis page, this looks quite detailed. Okay. And these are all the things, all the services. Like it looks and feels a bit overcomplicated to me, but we'll find a way. We'll find a way to simplify it later. Okay. You know. Also, like you could be just sitting here waiting for like 1 to 2 minutes. This is what I do. Instead of waiting and just twiddling my fingers, or getting bored going on social media, I actually come into KnowCode and I just learn about what's being done. I try and identify the patterns of what's being done, and that's how I can be more effective when I go back to Lovable or Cursor or Windsurf. I use Windsurf. I've been using Windsurf mainly. I can just be way more targeted. I kind of know what is actually happening. The other thing you can do, right? Like, so I can click on this, and then I can click on these. Okay, and I really want to make sure that I've got these in here. So these are all services. Okay, So I'm just clicking all the services. I click all the types as well. So what you can do, which is super powerful here, is you can just start chatting. You can start chatting to your database and learn about it quite quickly. Can you just explain to me in the analysis page that we have set up, how is, like, what services are actually evaluating the initial data, like the data set? And so what we do is, like, we send all of the context of all of these files in one go to the AI model, and then we just like give you short replies around what your question is. So not overly detailed, just like short and sweet around how you can understand it. Okay, so this I mean, this is so crucial. Like, because when you're using Lovable to build your prototype, you realize, okay, you kind of lose track sometimes what the AI is doing, particularly if you're just vibe coding. And this just enables you to understand it way better. And you can like ask for optimizations, you can ask for enhancements, and then you can put those back into Lovable, into the chat area of Lovable. Get the AIs talking to the AIs, and that's really, really powerful when you start doing that. Okay, in the analysis page, the following services are responsible. Analysis service sends a request to analyze the data set using AI. Features all previously now. Yeah, okay. This is stupid. We don't want this. Okay. Okay. You know, I actually don't want this. If I'm pushing run analysis, I want to always be doing the analysis through the AI at the moment. How can I tell Lovable? Can you give me give me what I should be telling Lovable to remove this, so that it can be really targeted and how it sorts it out. Okay. It's like writing an email. Oh god, that's funny. I would like to request a change to the analysis page functionality. Currently, when we click the run analysis button, it features all previous analysis. I want the application to always rerun the analysis of the AI model. Here are the specific changes. Remove fetching. Okay, and because we've got all the context, it's sent the entire context, and then it just like comes back with a, okay. This is what I'm going to send. I'm going to send the email to Lovable. Let's give this a try. Okay, there's some issue that we got to fix here too, but honestly, this is probably better than like me just vibing. Is trying to understand, like getting quick answers here, and then because within Lovable, right, like it is really good, but they just you just don't get a understanding of what it's doing. Like that's just the reality at the moment, you know. Honestly, they should partner with us. They should partner with us so that users can actually know what's going on, and you know that's what we should be doing, honestly. Okay, so it's going to fix the error, and then it's going to work on that. And honestly, I totally believe that working, like when you're waiting, just start working in KnowCode, and then you'll find like you will not lose interest as much as I used to. You know, like I used to just go on Lovable, and I'd just like go on social media, stuff around, get caught in a doom scroll, and you know this way you can just stay really focused on understanding exactly what's happening. Okay, so hopefully it's going to fix that. So prompt service retrieves the prompt that can be used. Yep. Analysis section service automatically saves past sections of the analysis to the database. Okay. Cool. Okay, so okay, this is pretty good. Let's just see what I've done here. Okay, okay, let's just double check. I've updated the analysis page to always run a fresh analysis. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, I like that. I like that drop down. It's just remove the initial loading of previous analysis. Yep, good. Updated the page to only check the most recent run. Yep. Modified the analysis result view component to display only a single analysis result. Okay, I don't know about that one. Simplified the UI to show the current analysis. Yep. Okay. Okay. Well, let's just see. Here we go. And we're gonna I always refactor. Always, right? Always refactor. You want your code to be as modular as possible, and then it's up to you to understand the modularity and bring it all together. Okay, so saved analysis sections. Okay, so I don't really need this, but is it saving to the database? That's what we need to really work out. Analysis sections. Yeah, okay, so it's not saving to the database. It's not working. Oh, no, it is working. It is working. Okay, this is good. Okay, let's just sort this by created at ID. No, we want descending, right? Descending. Okay, so let's just have a look. No, we want ascending. Okay, so what's the time here? Okay, so this was the one that was just done. Okay, index order, time series, category sales, regional analysis. Time series, category sales. Okay, let's just go back here. Time series, category sales, regional. Yes, okay, good. Okay, awesome stuff. Okay, so yes, let's refactor the analysis page. Just one other thing. Can we please, all we really need to show when we run the analysis, right, is the saved analysis sections. We don't actually need to show the raw information coming from the AI model. That's unnecessary now in the analysis page. Just have a look at the image and I'll show you. We don't really need to show this part of it, but the saved sections, yes, we do. We just want to show all of those individual pieces of analysis that come out. We want to show those. We want to show those in the experience. Those are the key things. Okay, so if we have it in the database like this, right? So as you can see here, we now have it in the database. In theory, we should be able to loop through. We should identify the parent analysis ID and then loop through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, run time series analysis with an AI call, run category sale like with an AI call, right? And what we don't want to like run per se. We want to create initially just like the code to actually get the insights. Okay, that's what we want to do first. Okay, so that's what we'll like really target right now. That's where we want to get to. Okay, but this is all very, very key. Once they start to refactor the analysis page, though, we're going to have to probably re-trigger the repo. Okay, so this is like basically an entire service for the formatting. You also have a few options to filter stuff as well. You can make this larger too. Remember, you can click on any of these, right? And you can actually see the code and like analyze all the code. Okay. Yep. Good. Okay. It's done what we needed. That's great. That's really great. Really great. Really, really great. Okay. Okay. Next part. Okay. So I think that we've made some good progress here, right? Okay. So let's just have a look here. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. What does this actually say? Expand answer. Okay. Examine how sales and quantities have changed over time. Aggregate sales and quantity by month and year. Visualizing trends using line graphs. Okay. Cool. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go through and work out what the SQL code will be. So what we want to do is we want to send the objective and the metadata, and then I want to store a SQL query that we get from AI in here. Okay, so I'm going to just describe this to Lovable and see what it comes up with. Okay, so now what I want to do is this is a brand new functionality. So taking what we've saved from the analysis into the database, we have a parent analysis ID, right? What we need to do from that is we need to loop through all of the different types of analysis for that particular parent analysis ID. We need to send each individual row through the same AI function, the same edge function, and we need to, in the prompt, place the content for that particular analysis section, and we need to place the metadata for that piece of that analysis. Maybe even also the table preview as well, just to give the AI more context. And then what our output is, what we want from the AI API is for each different analysis section, we want to be able to grab the correct SQL snippet or SQL code that we would need to run on that data set to achieve that analysis. So that is ultimately what we're trying to achieve here. If we could just start building out what we need to achieve this, that would be great. Okay, so this is quite comprehensive, but let's just see. We've got a lot of the makings of what we want, and now we just need to just extract this part out. So this is just a bit of like trial and error, a bit of vibing. Okay. So this will probably like massively overcomplicate what we're trying to do, but that's okay. We will always come back. Remember, we are just building a scaffold here, right? Like that is the absolute key thing that we're working on. So we take the data in, we analyze it, we get all the metadata. The metadata enables us to get a list of all of the different analysis that we can do. Then we need to send in to another prompt the metadata, table preview, and then each individual analysis section that we want to run. We then need to go and grab like a way to manipulate the data from that. Then once we have the SQL code or Python code, we'll test a few things here. We need to then run each of those individual things against the data set. That's going to give us a subset of data for each of those pieces of analysis. Then with that subset of data, because that subset of data will always be able to share, like place that into, that will always have a lower amount of context, right? We'll be able to send that to an AI model and then get some sort of visualization back off the back of that. So that is the idea. That is the idea here. That's what we're going to work there. So still a bit to go. There honestly is a bit to go, but like I can see how we connect it all up, right? Like it's just a matter of us. It's just a matter of us like connecting it. So I'm just like trying to stay super modular here, like one bit after the next, and then we can smooth things out later on. Yep, so this is going to build some more stuff, which is fine. And then if we're waiting, we can just come over to KnowCode, right? And just get familiar with everything. So other things we can do here is like, you just select something. If you want to talk to your code base and understand it, you can select multiple things. You can select individual things, and you can ask away. Can you just give me an overview of what is the analysis service doing, and what is the analysis section service doing? And you see, like, I'm talking to my code base by my voice. Like, these are just some of these like mini things that I'm doing that help me be ultra productive right now. The analysis service is responsible for handling data analysis requests using AI. Its key functions include sending analysis requests, fetching analysis, auto saving sections. Okay, good. The analysis section service focuses on managing sections. It breaks down the complete analysis text into structured sections. Well, it's kind of, isn't it always doing that? Aren't we already doing that? It saves past sections to the database. Yeah, to me, there's a little bit of overlap here. It retrieves all sections associated. Yeah, okay. Look, the AI is going to make mistakes, right? It's not going to be perfect. You need to be on top of all these things, like, ultimately. 3 minutes, God, that's a long time. But it was meant to run it did need to run a few things. Okay, I understand you're looking to extend the analysis functionality to generate SQL snippets for each analysis section. Let's build this new feature. I've implemented a comprehensive SQL generation feature that takes each analysis section and generates appropriate SQL queries for them. A new edge function that processes analysis sections and returns SQL code, a service to handle SQL generation requests, a user-friendly UI panel that displays dataset preview integration. Okay. So let's just fix it. What did it actually build? Let's have a look. So what did it? Okay, so generate SQL. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, yeah, it's going to OpenAI 4.0. Okay, that's right. What we want to be doing ultimately, right, is using Gemini Flash or Gemini Pro, like, because the 4.0 makes so many, just hallucinates all the time. You're an expert SQL developer. Generate the appropriate SQL analysis section, dataset preview. Okay. Yeah. Okay, looks promising. Looks very promising. That's good. That's what we want. Okay, still errors. We need to save the SQL code somewhere, right? So, like, what we probably want to be doing is saving it here. We want to make sure we're saving it here and appropriately. Okay, generate SQL. Let's see what actually happens. I wonder where it's going to save them. That'd be interesting. I like these little notifications, though. That's cool. How's it going to show these to me? Wow. Okay, that's cool. That is cool. Okay. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, and I just need to check like where did it actually save these? Okay. Yes, it's just giving me these here. But what we want to do, right? We want to actually run it. We want to somehow actually run it on the data set. So that's one thing we need to work on. I just need to just understand where this was actually saved to. Technical details. Let's just have a look here. Data analysis. What model are we using here? Yeah, so this is the one we want to use here. I'm going to see if I can change this over. Model ID is this. Thanks. So what we can also do, I'll show you OpenRouter, right? So OpenRouter like this. So we're sending everything through OpenRouter so that we can actually interesting. This is a new one. Let's actually change it to this. Why not? Why not? This looks like it was released today. So this is the benefit of OpenRouter, right? Like you can just quickly go and make updates like this. Actually, what I'm going to do, I've got to do it through here. Okay. Oh, God. Can you please change the OpenRouter model to this latest one? Also, can you tell me where are we actually saving in our database the SQL code for each of these insights? The latest, I mean, 4.0, right, is just like not a good model. Like we need to use the best models because they know SQL. They know everything about SQL and Python and all that. Like they nail it every time. Very rarely do they get it wrong. Look, it's actually better to put it through here, I think, because then it will go and update. Because of the connection to Superbase, it will go and update the edge functions for us automatically. Okay, I might go. How long are we going for? We've been going for an hour and a half. Might go for another half an hour. See how we go. Okay. I think a 2-hour stream is pretty good. Get a bit tired after that. I've got so many other things I'm working on as well. Let's see if I can refresh this now. Yeah, okay. What is this file doing? Generating SQL for a specific section. Function takes a request containing an analysis section, authenticates the user. Does it show here where this is actually saved in the database, or is it even saved in the database? There are no calls to save the SQL generation to a database. Okay. Yeah, these errors are so annoying. Go away. Okay, so the SQL queries are stored temporarily in a RIA. Okay. If you'd like to store them in the database, create a new table to store the SQL. Modify the SQL, generate SQL for section function to save. Yep. Okay, cool. That's exactly what we want to do. This is what we want to do next. Okay, so yep. This is exactly what we want to do. Just fix these stupid errors. Really, we should probably create another page for that, hey? But that's all right. Okay, let's just get this done. Okay, what is this client TS? This is the connection to the database. Okay, just remember, like, you can analyze all these individual files as well. But this is very common. Like, if we're using Superbase, this is super common. So this file creates a client that allows the application to communicate with Superbase. Yep. So connection to the Superbase is absolutely crucial, right? It contains, and I think what is important here as well is, if you want to migrate, you want to be centralizing, so much of this core logic, right? And so this is where modularity is so key. It contains the URL and a special key needed to access the database. Yep. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we got to run the SQL. Let's go apply it. So I did think, okay, I'm okay with placing this into another table. We're going to have, if you could have hundreds of thousands of these things getting created, right? Like, so it's better to keep it again as modular as possible, even in the model. I just be interesting to see how it relates it back. It relates it back to initially to the analysis sections, and then also the metadata, which is important there. Yep, this is key. This is obviously key because this is not saving anywhere. This is just saving in my browser. It's just saving in my local instance. But we need to track all this stuff. So once this is done, I'm going to run this again, and we're going to just see what it comes back with. But we're getting closer, right? Like, if we have the SQL, we can then create a new thing which runs the SQL against the data, the real data, okay? And then we can extract the subset of information. So this is a bit of a challenge though. Like, I've never built anything that actually does this. So we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper, but it's certainly doable. Okay, so let's just go. Let's just get everything that's to do with SQL here. Okay, so this is all the so I mean, this is cool, right? Like, you just type in SQL and you can just very quickly get all the SQL stuff, anything related to SQL. Okay, what I'm going to try to do next, I need a bit of advice, is I'm going to try to run these SQL queries against the real data set that a user has in their account. So how do you think we should maybe build this out? Like, I think we should run it on a separate page, and we should like sort of see how it's actually running. So, we take the first SQL code, we run it against the data set, extract the data, show that in the user experience, then do the next one, then do the next one, then do the next one. That's what I think we should do, one after the other. Create a new page for SQL execution. Okay. Your approach to executing SQL queries sequentially and displaying results. Here's a step-by-step outline. Create a new page for SQL execution. Set up a new page where users can view the results of each SQL execution. Prepare state management. Fetch and execute SQL. On this page, fix the SQL results from the previous step and pass them via props. Create a function to execute SQL against the data set. You can use implement logic to run SQL queries one after the other. Okay, well, we're going to give this a go. Okay. Okay, so now that the database table has been created successfully, I'll implement the code changes needed to save and retrieve. Okay, so let's just double check this is done. Analysis section SQL. Okay, cool. Created new fetch existing SQL, added a save SQL section. Yep, updated the SQL generation. Enhanced. Okay, that wants me to refactor that, so that's all good. Because I'm just going to run analysis now. So this should rerun the AI. Modularity is just honestly so crucial for testing purposes as well, right? Hasn't broken it down into sections, which is annoying. Yeah. It's annoying. See, it's broken something. I mean, maybe it's this analysis section service. So it was analysis section service before, wasn't it? That we so this is the one. So what does this actually do? Explain simply. This code is a service that handles breaking down a large text analysis into smaller sections. Yes, okay, so this has been stuffed up. Maybe because we're actually refactoring it, I don't know. Core functions, pass analysis section. This function takes large text and breaks it down, okay? It looks for patterns in the text, tries several different patterns, finds the section. See, I mean, this is just insanely helpful, right? Like you just don't even get this stuff from Level or anything. Even like the IDEs like Windsurf and Cursor. I mean, that doesn't educate you enough on what is actually going on. Save analysis, since this function saves the past section, how it works. First, it deletes any existing section. Then it prepares the new sections and inserts all sections into the database. Delete analysis sections. Okay, so this is the one. This is the one that we need to like really understand a lot better. Okay, I'm just going to keep refactoring. Okay, maybe it was something in there. Okay, let's just double check then. Is it reaching our database? Yes. Okay, good. Okay. So now I would expect when I push this, these are going to be saved. This is going to go through the Gemini Flash model. It's going to save the outputs to it's going to save the outputs to our database as well. Well, it should do. Okay. Okay, SQL generation service. Okay. Okay, one thing I've just noticed about the SQL generation service is that we're not taking into account the metadata of the initial data, because all I'm asking for is a SQL query we could use on that exact data set. So something is not quite right here, because some of the SQL code that I'm getting back are trying to insert data. It's trying to do things that are overly complex. All we need in this SQL generation, all we need in the actual SQL is the real SQL that we're going to run against the actual data set to achieve the subset of data that we're looking for this insight. That is what we're trying to do. So can we please really revisit exactly how we are creating the SQL? We need to provide in the prompt. We need to provide the insight we're looking for, the metadata, and the data preview, so that the AI has all the information it needs to just generate the most optimized SQL code to actually run that piece of analysis on the real data set. Okay, so SQL generation service. This is key. So is this service what are we placing through to the ultimate prompt with this service? That's what I want to know. So generate SQL. It's important that we are also including, the metadata of the initial table, the preview of the table, and then the actual insight. We need all of that to be included in the prompt, so that we're getting the right, really optimized SQL code to ultimately run on the data set. Yes, you are correct in your understanding of the service. Here's how the components fit together to ensure the right information is included in the prompt. A SQL generation request type includes analysis section. This includes the ID, title, and content, and the parent analysis ID. Yes, okay, so that is the metadata, I'm pretty sure. The prompt is built to instruct the AI model to generate SQL code while considering the provided analysis task, its content, and the dataset structure. This ensures that this generated SQL is well optimized and relevant. Okay. Okay, so that's a really good answer. That's good. Okay, this is still going. I understand your concern. The current implementation is indeed not fully optimized. Let's revisit the SQL generation approach to ensure it produces queries that are specific to the analyzing existing data. I'll focus on improving the SQL generation prompt, ensuring we provide sufficient data. Okay. Because I don't want to manipulate data. I want to just analyze the data. We can do the manipulation another time, right? That's more important. The key of what we're trying to do here is produce subsets of data. We're not actually cleaning data or modifying. We want to create this, from the initial data set, subsets of data that we can then turn into visualizations. That's ultimately what we're trying to do with this SQL generation service. One thing I'm going to have a chat to my devs about is that I cannot stand how it just scrolls down as it's streaming, and it just needs to stay at the top and let the user scroll. Your goal of using the SQL generation service to create subsets of data for videos is clear. Current functionality. To further refine the SQL generation service, consider the following: explicit subsetting. Modify the prompt to explicitly instruct the AI to focus on. Okay, let's. No, I don't. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, date ranges. No, okay, we won't do that. Okay, let's just see. Maybe it's actually sort of done it. Enhance the SQL generation prompt in the edge function to explicitly focus on analytical queries and receiving existing data only. Improve the dataset. Okay. Improve the dataset preview formatting to provide more context. Okay, let's just run analysis again then. Added table name suggestions based on the dataset. Added warnings. Updated the UI. Okay, we'll just refactor this puppy here. See, 297 lines. Always want that to be smaller. Always. Yep, okay, this is good. SQL generation. Did that last one save in here? Okay, good. Model ID, why? Why GPT-4o? It's Gemini. So it's actually doing multiple analysis insights, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so what we want to do now is this is sort of what we're trying to achieve next, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to copy this. Okay, I think we're making some good progress here. Now I want to work on the next page here. So this is going to be a brand new page that sort of flows on from the analysis page. And this is sort of going to be like, let's call it the visualization page or something like that. And we're going to try to execute the above. What we need to do is we need to run these SQL queries that we've created one by one on the real data set. So we need to retrieve the data file from our storage, and then we need to run the SQL code through it. So a lot is described above, and so let's just get started on this. Okay, so this is a big one. So let's just see. Again, we want to keep it modular, create a different page. There's going to be a lot of different components on that page. There's going to be a lot of different services that we're going to create. So this is going to be quite key. And complexity level is lifting. But you know what we're doing, even though we're tying a lot of these things together, right, is like we can just do this. We can expand each of these different services out. If you think about it, right? Like if we can do this across 5, we can do this across 50, we can do this across 100. There is nothing stopping us. Nothing. We're just going to put the AI on a loop, and none of this actually costs that much money as well. Like I'll show you. So let's go into here. Let's go to activity. So you see here that these are all the different calls that I'm making, that we're making. Just let's go to GPT-4o. That's just so annoying. Why? Okay, so what was this? Is me today. Okay, so what have we spent today so far? I mean, you just cannot believe how cheap these things are. Eh? It's just unbelievable. I mean, look, it's not even a cent. So I'm still. What have I spent? I mean, 15 cents. It's just a joke. I mean, honestly, I paid $2 for it to just like run. Would you pay $2 to run like analysis across hundreds of pages, like hundreds of pieces of data? I mean, why not? This is what data agents are. This is what's going to happen with data agents. It truly is. Like data analysis is going to be automated, no doubt in my mind. Like it is on its way to be completely and utterly automated. It's been a while coming, but I can see it now. I can actually see how this is actually going to play out. Because basically what I'm doing, you know, anyone can theoretically do this. I mean, it's just layering AI one on top of the other to actually achieve certain things. You know, at the end of the day, right, AI knows SQL, it knows Python, it knows it better than any human, basically, already. And so there's nothing stopping you from just automatically generating this stuff and associating it to data sets, just like humans would have done historically. There's nothing stopping you from doing what we're doing here, but just doing it 10 times more. And that's what we're going to do. That's what everyone, I think, is going to be racing towards, right? That's what everyone's going to be doing. I fixed the input error and created a new visualization page that allows users to execute SQL queries against their data set and view results. Okay, so I've fixed the input error and created a new visualization page that allows users to execute SQL queries against their data set and view results. A SQL execution service that retrieves, processes data files. Okay, I mean, this is going to be really interesting. I would be amazed if that works on first go, but let's just give it a try. No way. God, no way. No way. Nah, okay, I don't even know if that's right. Yeah, it's just returning the same thing. Okay, we need to, yeah, this is not working. see, order by category region. Yeah, see it, like what is the date doing there? This is sample data. Yeah, okay, so the execution has not occurred. Okay, but this is good though. This is good. This is what we want. This is what we want. This is exactly, wow, okay, it's freaking cool. Really, really cool. Okay, we are making serious progress today, I'm telling you. I am telling you that we are making serious progress. Okay, so then what we need to do here, of course, is we need to, again, save these subsets of data. Okay, so navigation buttons. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, this is just, it's going to keep refactoring. Okay, refactor visualization page. Yes, we want to, like, I wish that it would always build like more modular. I mean, I'm pretty confident that I have asked it to build in a modular way already. So settings, knowledge, make sure you build in a modular way all the time. That means staying modular. So you know, another thing I just saw, I'll show you. So you see here that if you want to limit using your credits, so you see here that I've actually done a lot of querying, but I didn't actually use up any of my credits on Lovable. I kept my credits on Lovable to be really high value add. And I actually use KnowCode to do a lot of the underlying understanding of my code. And so it also saves on your credits as well, which can get quite expensive. And you know, if you just think about, if you truly don't know what you're doing at Lovable, you can waste 5 credits on just in a loop, trying to debug stuff. And so that's why using KnowCode, I've found to like truly understand, I can be way more targeted. I can actually feed in some of the AI results into Lovable to be like really precise on what I actually want. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, I really love what you've done with data visualization. The key for me now, though, is that I actually want to be able to run the SQL. How do we actually do that? Because at the moment, we're just using sample data in the query results, but I actually want to have the ability to truly run the actual SQL code and see the SQL results. And then, you know, we also really need to save the results to the database. We need to save it within the database so that we can iterate through the subset of data to create visualizations. That's kind of the idea that that I've got going on my mind right now. Okay, we've gone over 2 hours now, so I might actually, finally made some serious progress here, which I'm very, very happy with. And remember, we haven't even moved out of Lovable yet, and we're doing something quite comprehensive. Okay, like we're still just building the scaffold here. You know, we're probably 4 hours in now, and we're like the vision that I had at the start. We're slowly bringing that to life. Yeah. Okay, so it's actually going to try and actually now do it. Okay, so let's just see if we can get to this part, and then you know, we're close. Like if we can save this subset of data into the database, then you know what I think we can do is this. I'll show you. So say, for instance, we have a subset of data like this. We could use Claude's model, Claude like this, right? I'll show you. We could use Claude's API. Claude 3.7 is very good, very, very good. Come on. Okay. Okay. And then I can go, please create a dynamic visualization out of this data. Okay, so we can actually send this in a prompt to the API, right? And we can then get back code to render the visualization. Okay, so it should bring up what they call artifacts in here on the side. Let's just see if it actually does that. And it's actually building a visualization. Okay, I don't know what it's doing. So we're going to have to do some testing. And then tell it to come back with like a visualization on that data set. And then that's kind of the workflow that I was imagining initially, right? Yeah, okay, so it's going to, God, this is such a beautiful UI. That would be very cool if we could do something similar, wouldn't it? If we kind of have like the chat based and then it just like works through all of these pieces of analysis one by one. See, this can still hallucinate, but what I find is that the idea is not to send the entire, like it hallucinates a lot if you send the entire data set. But what if we just send the SQL, refined SQL like data, right? So the data set's a lot smaller. I think what we do then is we limit a lot. We really limit the hallucination possibilities. So my idea is to run this in the API, right, and just have it sort of working in the background, and then you just come in and you like see the visualizations it creates. Come on. I mean, maybe there's a better way or a different way. I don't know. Like maybe we could use like one of the libraries out there, but we'll see. We'll see what's my inclination is to send it to the AI and like build visualizations this way, because you can actually like get a lot of flexibility in what the visualization looks like. You can provide the colors. You can do it all within. You're probably better off just like writing code like this to create the visualization now. But let's see. Because Claude, like, and maybe some of the other, maybe Gemini could do something similar. I'm not sure, but Claude's always been quite good at this. Well, this is way too comprehensive in my opinion, but let's just see. It's probably creating a dashboard. Is it creating a full-on dashboard for us? That would be funny, wouldn't it? It is. Okay. Well, I mean, see, this is the potential, right? So like total sales, and my vision, right, is that like maybe we need to be a bit more structured in the prompt or something like that, but we totally can be, and this could show up on the web like automatically, like, and this is just one of the insights compared of all the different insights that we can gather. Okay. Of course, you'd have to be very conscious of the hallucinations and stuff like that. So, but in terms of speed, I mean, this is just going to be incredible, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't even fully work. Yeah, see, Claude, I mean, I find that Claude, as soon as you get long files like what they're producing here, just the recipe for issues is large, right? So like my idea is we just do one little thing at a time. So, like even within here now, like, this is this as simple as it can be? Like, see something's going wrong here that we'll need to work hard on. But so yeah, so it's kind of like one thing at a time. That is what we don't want to bulk do anything. We want to do, okay, here's one insight. Okay, here's one SQL code. Here's one little subset of data that we get out of the back of that SQL code. Here's that one subset of data that we turn into a visualization. Then we do the next thing. Then we do the next. Then we do the next thing. Then we do that 100 times. That is the opportunity here, and then we put that in a nice UI and nice experience. So, God, like it's just endless. Honestly, endless the opportunities if you can nail that, right? Analysis section results. Okay, yeah, okay, so it's good. Okay, this is actually what we need. Okay, I am seriously going to round off shortly because we can just keep going on the next one. But this turned into a really, really solid session. You know what honestly unlocked it for me was just like learn no code. Like I started to like truly understand what was going on. We started to get some good prompts out of the, one thing that AI is like awesome at is just like ideation. Like it just gives you such good ideas of like how to push your projects forward. Just ask it, like, just select a few files and say, hey, how can we get that? How can we get this? Just like ideate with the AI to come up with ideas and then implement them, I mean, it's just a joke how like inexpensive this is. I mean, I am using Gemini 4.0, which is very, very cheap. But even if I go to, like, I bet you the Gemini model's free. The Flash model, no, it's not free. Okay, so this is, you got to, like, when you're looking at these numbers here. So if we go to this one, this is the latest Flash. Okay, so 0.15 per million input tokens. Okay, that's what it's saying. And then 0.6 for output tokens. But the thing is, like, what you'll find, so we could probably analyze an entire model. I don't know, like say we had a data set, right? That was like a model, which is 3 or 4 tables. And we just decided, okay, I want to run 100 pieces of analysis in the way that we're doing it, right? With generating the insight, then the SQL code, and then generating the visualization. Like you could honestly achieve most of that for under 1 million tokens of putting like information in. And then, so you're looking at less than $1 for running your entire analysis on any particular day, maybe even less. That's what's possible. That is actually what's possible. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And this is happening everywhere. Like, I mean, you might even run your analysis like 20 times a day. Like, who cares if it's adding value? What's $20 a day for a lot of this stuff? To be up to date on everything that's sort of key. These data agents are just going to be working everywhere and behind the scenes, like constantly. It's just going to be incredible, absolutely incredible. Okay, so we've still got to nail this. We definitely have to nail this, but I'm going to pause here and we're going to have to do some digging into how we can actually nail this better. Like it looks like there's some sort of error on execution. I need to understand how the SQL execution works a little bit more, but we can get there. We can absolutely get there. I mean, there is nothing you cannot achieve, like with AI, with all the AI that we have available, right? Okay, thanks all. That was really good. Would love some collaborating and interaction if anyone wants to join in. So just let me know. I'm going to try this live stream as much as I can around like all these things I'm doing, particularly this project here. But we've still got a long way to go. Like a long way to go here. Like 15 to 20 hours is kind of like high quality prototype territory. That's what you need to put in, and that's just your prototype. And then we start getting more serious around like refactoring code and enhancing code. But yeah, there's definitely some techniques to that we can really nail. But I think that we're looking pretty good here, actually. Looking really, really good. Okay, thanks all. Look forward to next time. Talk to you soon.